A little bit more in their match versus Lestream yesterday, which was practically a wash, just really walked away with it. We had Astro and Ion coming together for 13 opening kills, and that's out of a possible 24 rounds. That's extremely high. As well as that, better in post-plant, and they look just so damn coordinated. Been doing a lot better than what we have seen previously, and I'd have to say it's all on the back of that pickup of Ion. They picked him up in March, and ever since they've been looking so dang good.
Well, two bans coming out on the attacking side will be Hibana and Capitao removed from play. One from either side. It'll be FaZe starting on the defense now. So I guess we had that reversed in the onset. So it'll be EG starting on the attack and FaZe starting on the defense. Mira banned away. So we'll have both, well, at least I'll have one of the operators that Alex so kindly mentioned on the analyst desk, which was Maverick, still available to play. But Capitao will be removed from the pool of operators allowed to be selected on the attacking side. One final defender ban coming down, and it'll be Echo. So EG starting on the attack, obviously defense, the favored side on Clubhouse, and yet we just saw an example of what can go absolutely horribly, horrendously wrong on Clubhouse in our Fnatic Empire game, in which Empire won 7-0, including 6 wins on the attacking side. So we'll start downstairs with FaZe on the defense, and we'll start in the basement. Church Arsenal, it'll be EG on the attack to try and counteract some of these measures. Obviously, you lose your Hibana, you got to take a Maverick now for having the double hard breach. And we're continuing the trend of yesterday. Canadian now, starting out on the Montaigne once again.
He did pretty well on it yesterday. We saw Montaigne get picked up by a couple of different EG players, including Geo, which was a very strange thing. But seemed like Canadian had the most profit with it yesterday, but he is going to switch off over to the IQ, picks up more of a fragging operator. Didn't do too hot yesterday, actually the bottom of his team in terms of kills, but it's a new dawn, it's a new day. We'll see what Canadian's got in the bag for semifinals.
Well, I think James as well on the desk was running through all the possible variations that Fnatic tried to run through down here as we're going back-to-back maps on Clubhouse just in different matches. He's talking about how Fnatic just threw everything at a wall and was trying to see what would stick on this basement defense. I'm interested to see what FaZe will employ, because there was a game earlier on in the regular season where FaZe were also in that kind of mindset. They were struggling on their basement defenses, and they had to really try and adapt. They tried a 3-man roam. They tried that construction roam that Fnatic were bringing earlier on as well against Empire. Then they tried to turtle up, and that still didn't work. So in the past, in the recent past anyway, FaZe have also had some hiccups on their defensive side, but their attacking side on Clubhouse made up the difference.
Yeah, but as we saw yesterday, I mean, FaZe's attack has even gotten better, but I do think it does all matter on what can they do on the defensive side. Again, you at least have to get one, and if you're going to do it on any map, it's going to be Clubhouse. I mean, has one of the highest percentages for defensive wins out of the entire map pool currently. Granted, those have went down just a little bit in recent history, but still pretty high here for Clubhouse.
Starting with the attack for EG, see what they elected to send in from. They do have both hard bridges, as I mentioned. You have Geo running the Maverick, and you have Young bringing the Thermite. So you have options here should you want to push Dirt Tunnel, which was a very old hat strat that EG used to employ quite heavily and especially counter quite well. But it doesn't look like there's much roaming going on right now for FaZe on the defense. You've got 5 men on site, 1 inside of Dirt and 4 in either objective downstairs. 1 holding down Blue, which NVK is currently droning out, and it's Ion the Smoke right now to contest Blue that NVK will have to come to blows with momentarily.
We praised Evil Geniuses yesterday for being more adaptable. Seemed like their role swaps were really working out for them. And this is actually going to show in this round as well, as we have NVK back on Thatcher. Whereas yesterday, he was playing a lot more of Twitch, fragging out. Actually had the most opening kills on his team was 7, but going back into a more of a supportive role for at least this round. We'll have to see how this story unwinds later down the line.
Good top control here. A lot of reconstruction being done to the floorboards from Kitchen down into Arsenal, clearing out anyone for a possible impact trick. Although you're probably, you're going to use Geo as the Maverick torch to make sure you can't get impact trick while you're trying to open up this hatch. Still a possibility to be shot up through the floorboards, and you can see he's laying prone on the hatch to protect himself from such an incursion. And Canadian will try and contest any of this fire being sent skyward towards the 2 members of Evil Geniuses. Portions of this hatch get chipped away now by the Surrey blowtorch as we still tick down on ammo count on those gas tanks for that blowtorch. And looks like Geo has expended too much utility to try and open this hatch to be able to open 2, and impacts come raining up to the hatch but won't do any damage to Geo. Everyone will back out at 100 HP. It's a 5v5, it's 45 seconds left. It's gonna have to come down to the execute downstairs, and I imagine Young is getting in position now to blow open this church wall.
Still have plenty of utility on the offense to get this execution off. Necroc still having all of his lifelines, just expended one, and we still have MVK with 2 EMPs. So we can disable those Evil Eyes still and possibly even get some of those Toxic Babes, but Mav's going to come up massive with the C4 here, taking out Young and NVK, and that's a way to open the door for the defense.
Beautiful Nitro Cell there from Mav, and that splits EG wide open. They've got no push now. Necroc stalled out inside of blue, hitting the deck now, trying to take in fire, but Astro will clean him up. Mav with 3 now, and Geo will drop into the site aimlessly. He'll collect 1 for his troubles, but Ion will lock it out. That's FaZe Clan dominantly taking the first round off the backs of Mav.
Evil Geniuses. A little slow at the beginning there, eventually finding their footing, saying, hey, we want to go for the kitchen. We want to try and get the hatch open. They blew up at a lot of that kitchen floor, trying to establish lines of sight so that they knew that Geo would not get killed. He didn't get killed. No one really got killed until someone got C4'd. And by C4'd, I mean 2 of them got C4'd, NVK and Young going down. And that measure right there, but actually a very nice place C4 through the up top area of church wall. So very nice little hole there for a C4 to fit through, and going to work out very nicely for FaZe to open that door once again, and then just really walk away with that first round. If anything, Evil Geniuses might just need to find a little bit better footing, know what they want to take initially instead of taking so long. They finally got that hatch popped, a little bit under a minute left on the clock. Maybe pick with a pace, just a touch.
Yeah, we saw the map control was free to take, but there was a lot of battling going on through those floorboards inside of kitchen from underneath inside of Arsenal. So tough contest to fight through, and again, pivotal timing there from Mav with the Nitro Cell, obviously having a Valkyrie camera at his disposal to time that Nitro Cell quite beautifully. So we also said that Clubhouse is defender-sided, so don't be surprised if they start walking away with some of these defensive rounds and get to an early lead. It'll be up to Evil Geniuses to win on what is considered, I guess, the tertiary site, the off-site on this map, which would be gym and bedroom. Win your attacks there. Should come away with a 2-4 split in favor of FaZe. Replicate on the other side, we go to overtime, and it comes down to a coin flip.
Well, we've seen a lot of teams really improve on that side, and that is, as is tradition with, when maps get updated or just new sites become available, as in on console as well. Teams trying to adapt, find new things that they can present, and that's definitely what's happened with Gym Bedroom over here. I mean, we've seen like Fnatic, granted, just lost 7-0 on this map, but have a very, very nice strat setup over here on Clubhouse. But yeah, very close shot there. Almost got his head ripped off, but Canadian's going to walk away from it. Non-fatal, at least, for the moment. This is all going to lean on the back of Geo, trying to get these walls soft upstairs so they can blow those up unless they want to put NVK and Young up top. Traditionally speaking, this is done on Repel, but Geo's going to do it laying down. So he has a closer barrier to the ground and possibly get some shots on some people's feet trying to run across CCTV. Oh, free kill for NVK. Free kill.
Yeah, Astro trying to contest that through the prone angle, but obviously the ACOG, again, the much higher firepower weapon on the side of NVK will win that out with ease. So trading back a little bit of the damage that was done onto Canadian earlier by Cameraman on the far side of the map. He's the lone man on the side right now. Over by Bedroom is Cameraman, the roaming Jaeger. So a lot of power now opened up for Evil Geniuses. You've got the wall opened into CCTV. You've got the B-bomb visible from both sides with the window open, and NVK will look to hold off any runouts and hold any pressure for any rotations through that rafters balcony window. You've got 2 stacked at the top of the main stairs right now, and Mav and Ion. The Smoke and the Valkyrie stacking up with utility. That's a lot of entry denial. You got a Nitro Cell you can launch into the breach should anyone try and peek out and rush in, and you've got the Toxic Babes to repel any entry at all from the attacking side.
Very nice repel here by Canadian that a lot of people have been picking up recently. Allows you to clear out that catwalk without having to peek into the line of sight of anyone playing it. Your head fits nicely into this top corner as you see the bullets just scathing by Canadian's head, but none of them going to make contact just yet. Only 57 seconds left on the clock. They got to try and find a little bit more footing. They already killed Astro, but still plenty of map control here for FaZe Clan.
Oh, those impact grenades doing a lot of damage to Canadian. Down to about 10 HP now on this upside down repel still, but Young will be the one to clean it up onto Yuna, and that's garage control now asserted for Evil Geniuses. The rush in from Necrox as well as NVK takes down Cameraman on the far side, choking on the gas. Necrox turns the corner, but gets blown to smithereens by the Nitro Cell. Still have a lot of pressure here, but not a lot of time for Evil Geniuses. 30 seconds counting down against them as they need to condense into the objective and start going for a plant. Repelling off will be Ion and Mav trying to lock down from inside of Cash on the top of Cash stairs. players. Flashbangs come raining in to burn out any remaining ADSs so they can utilize the rest of their utility, and it'll self-blind Young on the vault, and now in the midst of being blinded, Mav will fall at the hands of Geo. Now it's just Ion alone in a 1v3 now as one has been downed inside of Cash, pressed up against the soft wall. There's no time remaining, hitting the vault, and finally Canadian on 10 HP in the dire moments will wrap that one up, and Evil Geniuses will draw things even with a nice attacking round of their own.
Evil Geniuses giving their fans a little bit of a heart attack right there as no one was trying to pick up the diffuser. They were all just trying to shoot Ion. But eventually finding the frags is going to tie us up here on Clubhouse as of right now. And I can tell you one thing. These teams both coming out very, very hot in their own regard.
Yeah, that attacking round there, it was stalled out a little bit by the lack of garage control, but the flank held there by NVK beautifully, and that really allowed them the control to know that if they wanted to push up Cash stairs, as Geo did later on, that it was a possibility, that they had the disposal of that opportunity. And as soon as garage was cleared, they had another pivot point to choke in on, and the utility just wasn't enough there for FaZe. They lost too much control on the actual site itself, and a man caught downstairs on a rotate trying to get back to help. That firepower could have been useful, but nonetheless, that's going to actually send them off of CCTV and Cash. We're going to head to gym and bedroom now, and as we were seeing from Fnatic on their defenses against Empire, they're going to hold Cash anyway. They're still going to hold CCTV. They're going to hold Cash, reinforce this entire box, and turn it into another obstacle for the attacking side of EG to overcome.
This is practically a regular thing now, so a lot of teams are going to know basically how to get around it. I mean, the real issue here especially was a lot of people starting to pick up Kaid here. They used to put just a random person with impacts, Castle, practically anybody you can think of, but then Kaid came along. They're like, okay, well, Kaid has impacts and he has Electro Claws. So not only can you get rid of the thermites, but you can also get rid of the Hibana pellets. So with him playing there now, it's a pretty nice turtle setup that they can pull off and waste a lot of time. Traditionally speaking, whoever plays over there is eventually going to die. It's just a huge time waste, but if you can get a kill and knock 2 minutes off of the clock, it's a very good thing. Young actually going to use one of his exothermic charges on CCTV to open up the reinforced wall.
It's a good absorption of utility as well from the defensive side, being able to suck in a lot of that attacking utility. Now, you've only got one exothermic charge, as you noted, left to go and grab Jacuzzi Wall, which would be your next target if you're trying to attack in towards gym and bedroom. Good thing for Geo here is that he is the Maverick, and while you do have to contest with Astro on a possible bandit trick, or just the bandit batteries themselves and Unum with the Electro Claws, you can still pop up on these walls for free and find both bandit batteries laying at the bottom of those reinforcements. Now Young on an upside down rappel will utilize the second exothermic charge to pop open Jacuzzi Wall. There's no impact trick coming out through those Maverick holes, so both walls get opened up for free at the power of Geo and that Maverick Surge Torch.
Evil Geniuses picking up the pace most definitely, as you guys saw 3 separate operators using their utility to a T. That'll be the last of the Texan Dynamite that's on hand for Young, so no more thermite action except for possibly some kills with that 5.56. We still have Necrox establishing an extremely long angle waiting for a rotate, but more than likely they're going to be dropping hatch or something along those lines inside of construction. Canadian deciding that he's just going to blow open absolutely every single wall. Now, he is in a pretty safe spot right now. They have the door castled off. He has 2 possible rotations. He can try and rotate in through weights, try and get a longer line of sight with that ACOG into construction, or he can blow open this wall and try and get aggressive.
This is a complete site vacation right now for FaZe. They're going to have to retake entirely into it, and having some trouble with this partially turned Evil Eye. Finally, Canadian will dispatch of that. But now you can see the top down on the right side of your screen. There's not a lot of presence here. Everybody on the opposite side for FaZe looks like they're intending entirely for a retake and playing off of the utility. Geo will take down Astro on a rotation all the way over by construction wall in the exterior, but downed inside the smoke will be Necrox. The glass ineffectual with that perfect utility to be able to see through with the fluorescent scope. The plant will go down though, so it's a complete flurry and a technical 4v4 right now with Necrox on the floor bleeding out and no one in range to revive. Turning the corner is Ion to blast away Canadian, and another one. Oh, a beautiful shot there by Youngin, going in for 2. Left on 5 HP HP in the depths of the objective, and Mav will take down Necrox finally. The man was left bleeding inside of a bed. You've got Mav and Yuna both trying to bust out of construction. Mav on 1 HP will go for the vault out onto the balcony. There's no one waiting him for Evil Geniuses out there. And now Yuna down. It's Mav on 1 to keep FaZe alive in this defense. And NVK again will shut it down. 3 on the round for Nathan Valenti and Evil Geniuses, the North American powerhouse team. Will take 2 rounds on the attacking side of Clubhouse.
He might be playing Thatcher, but he can still get some frags. By God, they're going to walk away with that round. FaZe just letting him in. Only put up a couple of doors and said, hey, you know what? We're going to walk off the site. You guys can have it. That's perfectly fine. And honestly, it might have worked out, but they didn't know that Evil Geniuses was in till too late. They didn't know until that second Evil Eye got destroyed. That Evil Geniuses was inside of sight. They might have heard the wall get blown open. We can give them that benefit of the doubt. And eventually they did rotate, almost had a very nice flank through logistics office, but that got shut down. And eventually, diffuser goes down. Evil Geniuses in post-plant is not something to be trifled with, as you can see with NVK cleaning up those last 2 frags.
So, instead of the basement defense providing some troubles for FaZe, this time around it appears to be the top floor that is causing some difficulties for FaZe Clan, though. Last remaining Latin American representative here in Milan for the Season 9 finals. We're going to go back downstairs now, the most comfortable site evidently for FaZe Clan, and we'll try and wrap things up with a nice little bow and level things up at 2-2 as we head into the final third of the first half. It's a good start here, though, for Evil Geniuses on the attack. Very methodical, but like you said, they're not stalling out. They're not really playing too much of a patient game as they were yesterday against Immortals. And even as NVK said in that intro, FaZe do kind of fall into that Evil Geniuses play style. They do play off each other very well. The 2 teams interact quite well. And honestly, it seems like it's EG just getting the better of FaZe right now on the top floor. The basement right now, that was where Evil Geniuses stalled out a little bit. And you could attribute that to being the very first round.
Exactly. You're trying to get warmed up. You're trying to get those comms warm. Granted, you can scrim, but this is semis. The only people you're really going to scrim is possibly in the morning, might have scrimmed Fnatic or whoever you thought wasn't going to make it to finals. But even then, that is a gamble. So more than likely, a couple of T-hunts, then hop right into the game. Still got to get the comms warmed up along with everything else. So now that we have both these teams hot and ready, we're going to have Evil Geniuses once again on attack. This is round number 4 here, if you guys are just joining us. If you guys are just joining us overall for this stream earlier today, Empire ended up beating Fnatic on map number 3 in deciding fashion, I can say so, as a 7-0 on the map. We're actually currently on Clubhouse, as they will be meeting whoever between these 2, FaZe Clan or Evil Geniuses, in the finals here in Milan.
So, almost an identical attacking strategy right now for Evil Geniuses. They're all descending from every which way and each clearing their own individual portion of the map. And look, NVK is doing battle with Ion again. Ion's getting a little adventurous right now, peering down the tunnel to oil pit, but it'll be Young to use both exothermic charges this time around to pop open the Moto hatch and the blue hatch. So an alteration again to the strategy here, as Young still had one in the back pocket and was aiming in to go and open up the church wall last time, but was nitrocelled away. We'll wait and see if Mav's Nitrocell will have as much impact once again. Seems to have it prepped right now. Ripped open, and he's looking on another player's screen on the camera, and there he goes. Geo blasted away as there goes the Maverick. So all of your hard destruction has now been utilized. A frag grenade dropped in from Canadian, though, and countermeasure will drop Ion. So a lot of utility lost on the other side of the board. It's going to come down to gunfights in the final minute.
Necrox still sticking inside of Kitchen, trying to figure out exactly what he wants to do with the rest of these skeleton key rounds. Has stun grenades on instead of frag grenades. That's something to point out. So only set of frag grenades that we have is going to be in the hands of Canadian, but he's already expelled those, so we don't have those on hand anymore. Seems to be that they want to try and go for a possible Ash Rush here. Is Canadian's going to go in the back slot? Nobody even knows what's happening. Is Canadian going to get this free headshot? He finds 1. He finds 2. Oh my goodness, almost gets 3. Going to back off inside a mud tunnel before getting his head ripped off. Going to go over and grab the diffuser. Has to start trying to put it down. They've got the man locked down. He's going to get aggressive. Is he going to win it? Doesn't even need the right click. All on hip fire there. It's a 1 versus 3, all up to Mav. He's going to have to try and find something, but it's to no avail. First rush of the day by Evil Geniuses, and it's going to work out.
Necrox wrapping that one up on the C8 with the haul. Like you said, no frags, but you got the stuns, and Canadian going huge for the squad. 4K. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
There's the chance we were all looking for. Oh, it's been a while since we heard that. SI-19, those were...
I'm getting chills right now, man. I'm getting chills right now. This crowd in Milan is truly electric, everyone. I wish you guys were here with us. But instead, you're at home sitting down with whatever you're drinking, a nice thing of popcorn as we're going to continue to guide you through this Evil Geniuses game. And right now, it seems that it is Evil Geniuses game. I mean, they are on fire, specifically Canadian. Just like we said, yesterday was not showing up, really just could not do too much to try and find anything as this crowd just erupts. But today, seems like Troy's on his game.
Well, it's going to be a attack timeout from FaZe Clan as they see the impending doom coming towards them. Evil Geniuses right now taking flight and they're not pulling any punches either. On the attacking side, they, like you said, really ramped their pace in comparison to yesterday, and it seems like FaZe Clan right now are having difficulties dealing with it. We imagine that their only safe haven would be downstairs into the basement as they won that first round, but ever since then, it's been an onslaught for EG and a lot of troubling strategy, I think, in the mind of FaZe Clan. Just that gym bedroom setup really had me thrown off guard with that whole retake mentality. The entire site evacuated. Honestly, there's not too many places you can play within there that are safe from the balcony windows, but at the end of the day, you want to at least keep one person on site and don't have to rely on just a camera to let you know if they've entered. So it seems like FaZe a little ill-prepared right now for Clubhouse, which is interesting. But right now, it's Evil Geniuses tearing away on the attacking side, as we saw Empire do against Fnatic as well. So maybe the tides are turning on this map as a whole. Maybe teams are finally learning how to attack properly.
The Beasts of the East and the Titans of the West both walking away with it here on Clubhouse, I can tell you that much. But can tell you one thing, though. Evil Geniuses yesterday against Immortals, we saw a lot of adaptability. That was a very big deal because Immortals was trying to play the same game. They were trying to play into whatever Evil Geniuses was doing, whether it be hold an entire site just horizontally, put everyone in every room, trying to delay as much time as possible, or get extremely aggressive. They were trying to read into exactly what the EG boys wanted to do. Right now, FaZe is trying to do the same thing, but again, it comes back to this. EG used to be a very rigid team. It used to be all about the strat, all about we have to be here at this time, this place, so on and so forth. Right now, a little bit more fluidity added to the mix, and it seems to be working out for them, as FaZe really does not know how to act.
I think that really has to deal with the revolving carousel of IGLs that have been through the Evil Geniuses roster. There's been a bunch of different iterations of this team with different IGLs, and right now it's Canadian IGLing for the team, and I think that really does play into how adaptable they are and how quick on the fly they are to make a change. That rush into Arsenal there as well definitely wasn't the game plan. They've been angling towards Church on both of their attacks, and yet at the dying moments when they needed a push to really set themselves apart from FaZe and really take control of the ending portion of that round, it was Canadian to make a call, and Canadian to make an entry and a splash in the kill board as well. He seems to be picking up much better than he did yesterday anyway.
Some of the best plays inside of Siege history are done on instinct and not on a call, and that's exactly what is going to come of that one. So he did just rush through Ash Rush, as we traditionally call it, because usually run down main, blow open the back of that, or get yourself back into Armory.
So, entry once again from Evil Geniuses, pretty typical, and again, condensing from every possible angle across the map. Everyone clearing individually, but then they regroup around the midway point of the round. It'll be up to Canadian again to set the tone, as he was the one doing a lot of the reconstruction inside of Kitchen. We'll see if Necrox will bring frag grenades to join Canadian and have 4 of the availability of Evil Geniuses. But not a lot of contention towards the bottom of main stairs either. A couple times now we've seen Mav trying to get cheeky with either a Nitro Cell up into Kitchen, Nitro Cell over the church wall. Seems like a thermite charge has just gone off onto, I'd imagine that's Moto Hatch, and Gio's working away on the blue hatch quite religiously right now. He's dumping everything he's got from that Surrey Torch into that blue hatch. Working away at it, and he's definitely not going to have enough in the tank to go grab another hatch, but at the end of the day, you still have Young to pop open the other 2. You're looking pretty good, and you can possibly make yourself a little crawl hole if you desperately need it on the church wall, and if at any point in time FaZe affords you that availability.
Last time that the offense was set up like this, we saw Gio try to go inside of Kitchen and get the hatch open, and meant a little bit of an explosive finish as FaZe ended up getting to C4 off, but this time around, things going a lot slower. We're under a minute now as angles are still being established from upstairs, frag grenades being thrown down. This time not going to find anything, whereas last time it was an immediate trade as Ion went down to the frag inside of blue.
So a lot of reconstruction done, but they don't have this opening pick. Young now has made it in, and he's got an exothermic charge onto the church wall. Wide peek there from Astro will take down Young, but a trade out right beforehand onto Ion. Astro with 2 now onto Young, and Canadian coming alive right now is the Brazilian superstar. Trapped inside of blue, and the diffuser is down. EG with no control, they need to push in. All separated on different portions of the map now as Necrox will prime a frag grenade in towards the church table, but it'll bounce off the vending machine, and Geo will have to go for a rush. Cameraman tacks on now as it's just Necrox and Geo alive. Geo with 1, rushing into church. He's got 2 on his backside. Necrox turning, nowhere to look. Geo with 2 now, going for 3. It's down to a 1v1, but he cannot recollect the diffuser. Down to milliseconds on the round, but FaZe will survive the onslaught.
Astro doing fantastic that round. Ended up with 2 kills, which highest KPR for his team at above a 1. It's a 1.01, so it's barely, but that high of a KPR is nothing to look down upon. FaZe seeming to find their footing at least, as that last round was just a little bit of a blunder as EG more or less just rushed through the back of Armory and was able to find some footing, claiming that round. But this time around it's going to be all FaZe all the way. Had the opening at the very beginning and ended up just walking away with it in the latter half.
And that's really what you need there, because it was Mav doing a lot of the work. He had 6 kills entering into that round, picked up another one there, but before that round had started, it was Mav at 6, and the next closest player on his team was at 2. Now Astro with 2 in that round has bumped himself up to 3. So the rest of the team is coming alive a little bit more here for FaZe Clan, but they're going to go back to gym bedroom. So clearly CCTV cache. They tried it once. It came down to the wire. Granted, it was a 1v4 turned 1v3 near the end, but came down to the dire moments, as it just did downstairs in the basement, and yet FaZe Clan seemed quite content to run the gym bedroom back in a round that they lost quite handedly, especially with that retake strategy. So we'll see if there's an adaptation here from FaZe and see what this Montaigne now on Canadian once again from Evil Geniuses can accomplish. Necrox has also swapped off the Buck over to the Zofia. So a lot of changes happening right now for EG as they prime themselves for the last attacking round in this map, lest we go overtime.
Completely different setup being allocated here for FaZe Clan, as they don't even have a castle barricade near the bathroom this time around, and they've reinforced the back side of it. So this time around, Canadian will not be able to just walk inside, have free view over the entire site, and allow that plant to get down. And they're also going to be playing multiple bodies on site this time around. Astro and Mav currently both standing inside of sight off of your guys' screen. So here's though that EG is going to be taking things a little bit differently. So they're not going to be starting all the way over on the east side.
Free charges coming out right now from Necrox. He opens up the construction window and a lot of spray coming in from this master balcony. So, talked about last time how there aren't a lot of safe places to hide. There are a select few that many anchors will occupy. And then that cache and construction hold will take up the remainder of defenders. You can see Mav playing pressed up right against that construction door, and Astro inside of the bathroom this time. So they do have a presence on the objective to try and counter any initial rush from Evil Geniuses. You've also got Ion standing close by inside of construction. This is a tiny little angle here from cameraman trying to spot anyone out on the balcony on Jacuzzi Bell. He's just missing a member out there. He'll take a few shots, but he'll turn and run now as he's been detected, and pushing in now is Young with the thermite charge onto the bathroom wall. This is Evil Geniuses getting ready again to propel themselves into the objective.
Have Necrox outside on balcony as well. So Astro's in between a rock and a hard place here. Not very many safe havens for him to lie in wait in anymore. But again, time on their side is slowly ticking down. Bad news is though, they do have Canadian on that Montaigne. So this is gonna get a lot harder for FaZe than they know. Canadian's just going to be able to walk in and walk directly at them unless somebody can possibly get a flank off and shoot him from behind. As they are going to give Canadian that diffuser, things are surely going to start popping off momentarily. Geo going to be on drone here as Astro is still locked in the back of master bedroom. Necrox trying to find him, but he's blocked off by the mattress currently. So Young is going to rotate into bathroom. MBK though will finally find our first frag. Necrox is going to be downed outside. Astro will find one of his own. Canadian still trying to get this diffuser down. There is no echo in play, obviously, due to the ban, but Canadian not going to try and put that diffuser down just yet. Chooses to rotate, get some free information, gonna get in a gunfight with Astro, not going to lose it. Ion's actually going to rotate around the bathroom. Canadian with the perfect time though. Going to rotate back through. It's all left up to Mav, and Geo's gonna put a sock in it. as Evil Geniuses will walk away 4-2 on this half.
Well, it looked like it was going all FaZe all day, and they're going to walk out of the half at a 3-3 draw. But in the dire moments, it all comes falling and crashing back down to earth for FaZe Clan. And that tack timeout seemingly effective at getting them a basement win in literally milliseconds remaining. They still can't fix this gym bedroom defense, and they won't have to unless we have to go back to overtime. But it'll be Evil Geniuses now in the favorable position heading to the defense, at least by standards of this map. They'll be heading to the defense. They'll be heading downstairs to Church and Arsenal, and they got a 4-2 lead. They look like they're in commanding control. And again, interesting Montaigne play coming out from Evil Geniuses that hasn't done a whole lot. It's a good distraction measure, and it's a good entry in keeping the diffuser safe. I think it's had more effect today than it did yesterday, that's for sure. The Montaigne playing yesterday on both maps really didn't decide too many rounds there. But Canadian being able to be full shielded there and able to pull off that melee kill in the end definitely swung the tide of at least that individual round. Doesn't look like FaZe are going to try and replicate that kind of strategy, though. They're not bringing any shields.
Well, it does make you question things when you go for gunfights with Canadian then, especially with that rotate from Ion. If he acted a little bit quicker, Canadian's not facing him. But since he lagged behind a little bit, wondering if Canadian was going to go for the rotate, Canadian was facing him, gets the melee kill, and Evil Geniuses walks away with that round. FaZe tried to put bodies on site, but just did not end up working out for them. Evil Geniuses still able to get open the jacuzzi wall handedly and getting control of site along with it. So, as we are going to go to the rotation parameter here, and Evil Geniuses will now be on the defense. We'll see where they want to start things. And currently, we're going to be on Church.
Okay, I must be missing something, but nonetheless, we're getting underway in the second half, and it's an attacking round here for FaZe as they look to employ a little bit of the strategy from Evil Geniuses last time around. When it comes to Clubhouse and attacking the basement, honestly, unless someone is roaming, you've got a pretty free entry. And there is actually one sneaking up the main stairs right now. This is Canadian at the top of the main stairs from the basement, so I guess I should say the middle of the main stairs. And Mav holding his angle quite patiently. Canadian's been allowed to inch his way up, and doesn't look like this drone has spotted him just yet, although Mav's drone will retreat and spot Canadian as they both go sending down the stairs. So Canadian not going to try and contest this any longer. Astro is well spraying from the top of that landing of the main stairs as well through the floorboards to the base, but not a single bullet will connect onto Canadian. He'll be able to escape for free, so just a little bit of a presence in the back of the mind of FaZe, trying to find an opening, but FaZe not allowing Canadian to rotate up and really be a nuisance in the backside.
Yesterday, we saw FaZe enact some massive attacks quickly. That's the key point here. This time around, it's going to be a lot slower, and that is honestly something due to the fact that we don't have a Hibana. You have to get some of these hatches open with that Mav torch, and it takes a while. It's not something very easy to do because sometimes those rough edges connect, and you really just have to walk around and make sure you're making a perfect square. But they'll finally get one of the hatches popped open. The impact trick spot is open for Kitchen, but Ion is going to find Canadian inside of Moto, and that's going to be the opening FaZe needs here on round number 7.
Canadian again trying to make a play, but he gets punished for it this time around by Ion. So the Thatcher for FaZe, and honestly star performer from yesterday against Lestream. You can see them all dropping in, although a default camera was left open, so lots of intel to be relayed from Canadian about the FaZe attack. You've got a Maverick now blowing open holes onto the Church wall, trying to afford himself just a few peeking options into the back of Church behind the bar. 2 drop into Moto, and now Yuna contesting a Toxic Babe is going to lose almost half of his life getting the Church wall open, and the impact trick unsuccessful now for Necrox. He'll have to peel away, trying to peek into blue, and he's able to down off Yuna, escaping on 1 HP. Cameraman prone on the box, and an impact will not connect onto him either, but the diffuser is surrendered in time, sticking away. NVK will take down Ion as well as Geo will be able to be revived. Cameraman on the trade though, 2 fall for Evil Geniuses, and it's up to Geo's fresh off the ground, and NVK who's busy facilitating the revive. NVK though takes another one to the grave. Astro will fall, a frag grenade being launched down as Cameraman setting down the plant. In behind the bar, Mav collecting onto Geo. It's all NVK to wrap this all up for Evil Geniuses. We're gonna draw closer and Mav will shut him down. FaZe on a beautiful response round there on the attacking side, and they draw within 1.
It's gonna be the first plant of this entire day, and it was in dying seconds right before Mav's last bullet connected, but that is going to be FaZe winning out their first attack. This is exactly what we saw yesterday from them. When they know what they want, they get it quickly, and it's explosive. And that's exactly what that was. They eventually get the hatch open, everyone drops into Moto, Mav rotates over to the wall of Church, starts torching that open so they can get the thermite down safely, and that's the key point right there, using a little bit of that torch gas to open up a hole, as you guys can see on the bottom left of your screen there, of Astro's screen, to make it to where they cannot safely impact Trick at the proper angle you need. So, going to be able to punish that off. Eventually, Necroc's going to be able to rotate out, but it was all for naught, as FaZe is going to walk away with this round once again.
Wonderful play there from FaZe in the dire moments, and honestly, it was almost a complete cacophony of errors near the end there, as FaZe were allowing little tiny maneuvers by Evil Geniuses, and honestly some beautiful shots hit by NVK as well, try and counteract the entry of FaZe, but at the end they were able to collect, and honestly the plant going down there at the end from Cameraman really being the difference maker. If they had lost Diffuser elsewhere without control of it, possibly over by Blue, that would have been an entirely different story. And Evil Geniuses looked like they were poised to pounce back in that round and really separate this gap, but nonetheless, they'll head upstairs. They're not going to head back downstairs in the defense. They're not even going to try and give it a shot twice in a row. They're going to head to CCTV and Cash immediately. Try and separate the gap once again. Get up 5-3. Make sure you're within 2 rounds of winning the map. Make sure you continue to hold FaZe at arm's reach.
Very scary thing when the diffuser goes down so close to Moto door, especially with the smoke on the field. Granted, they did eventually get Necrox dug out of his hole inside of Church, but very scary moment there for FaZe, but we'll end up turning it around. So far, FaZe on their offense, again, explosive, but I think the biggest fact is how well they're playing off of each other. We've seen a massive improvement with that recently, especially with that pickup of Ion, where the team coordination has gotten a lot better. Continues to reign true today.
Cameraman waiting for a call here. I imagine it's just for an EMP. There's no Thatcher. I'm a moron. Waiting for the call to make sure no one's going to run out garage so we can go for the upside down rappel. We do correct our mistakes out here. So the blowtorch will come out, making a small peek hole in towards the rafters window to go on rappel and make sure that no one can bandit Trick immediately beside him. The flashbangs come raining in as well as Canadian is prepping a castle barricade on the rafters window. So a lot of angles being countered here, but you can see everything being tossed in, and now Cameraman's going to breach through the breach, and now pushing into Cash. When we'll get down to the top of Cash stairs though, and everyone on FaZe starting to fall apart. Necrox with 1, but another 2, 3 for FaZe, and it's all blowing up in fireworks in the face. Unit with 2 on the return, and NVK will be slapped back down the staircase, and it's all Geo now trying to retake against a castle barricade. The plant goes down, the energy high for FaZe, and it's a 1v3 as Geo frantically searching for pings. He'll launch a Nitro Cell directly at the diffuser, but it won't land on any of the FaZe members. Launching a Valkyrie camera up the stairwell, but it'll have to pause as that concussion mine comes in, and Yuna, that's 3 on the round for the thermite. Beautiful play from FaZe on the rush. And they storm the gulag and take another one from the jaws of Evil Geniuses.
Well, that's a way to tie up a game. I mean, just blow open the CCTV wall. 3 bodies rush in through the hole and start trying to find frags. Initially, we thought it was going to go Evil Geniuses' way. First 2 frags going that way. Then immediately after, 4 frags rain in from FaZe as they take control of the site, get the diffuser down, and walk away very handedly at the end. Granted, very hyper in round number 8.
So FaZe able to draw things even, and for this round right here, this is the pivotal moment for EUG. We talked about it yesterday as well in the game on Coastline. They had it 6-3. They were ready to lock things out, and yet Immortal storm back to draw things even and even take it into overtime and win the first round of overtime. EG are going to take a tack time out here as they don't want to let this thing get out of hand, and they can see the way that things are going right now against FaZe. FaZe are picking up the energy, picking up the pace, and they're really bringing the aggression. We talk about it all the time with Evil Geniuses. This is a team that has appeared quite susceptible to these quite manic plays where there's not a lot of predication, there's just a lot of energy and a lot of chaos. And it looked like Evil Geniuses, again, were controlling the storm well in the onset, and then everything began to fall apart as soon as FaZe continued to push. It looked like Evil Geniuses were anticipating a fallback from FaZe, and that never happened. They were committed. It was do or die on the round. That kind of dedication from FaZe wins them over.
Smart tactical timeout here for Evil Geniuses, trying to find cool heads, especially cooling down FaZe a little bit, putting them on ice for just a small portion of time. But again, as we love to talk about, it's also a tactical timeout for your opponent. So FaZe allowed to talk to their coach as well as got you talking to the boys of Evil Geniuses. So we are tied up here on Clubhouse. Still a lot of game to be played if this continues to go down the same way. Now, I think this is a perfect opportunity to tell you guys that there is no infinite overtime in this entire tournament, so that includes the finals. Also, finals is a best of 3, best of 5s, and infinite overtime is saved for majors, where right now, this is more or less just final. So. What's this even categorized as for Pro League Finals? What do they categorize it as for actual tournament? You don't know either? Okay, cool.
What? I'm just lost the question.
You want me to re-ask you the question?
We're going to move on. So it's a 4-4 draw, and we're heading back downstairs for Evil Geniuses into the basement, as in this instance, they've lost 2 defenses in a row. One that came down to the absolute wire, and one that really wasn't close. We're heading back down to the basement, where I guess Evil Geniuses feel they had a little more success, and that's fair to assume. Doesn't look like Canadian is going to be trying sneaking up those main stairs either. No attempts to try and make a play at random points and catch FaZe off guard. And honestly, you got to be ready for a rush right now if you're Evil Geniuses. I imagine FaZe want to keep this tempo. The TAC timeout might have pulled things off slightly. I don't think it's enough of a really cooldown to quell the storm that appears to be FaZe that is brewing right now. Popping open the moto hatch momentarily will be Cameraman with the rest of this Maverick torch, and I do like the addition of another ACOG with Young taking up the Rook this time around. He did have it last time, but they need these long angles to prepare for the rush, and especially having an ACOG if they want to blow open some Mav holes into that church wall again, you're going to be able to contest that a lot easier with an ACOG from further back.
Seems to be the exact same attack all over again for FaZe, but as previously stated, we got a Rook on the defense now, so those long angles going to be helping out EG especially. Initially last time we saw Netcrocs make it out alive after the wall of church got blown open, able to rotate over to Moto and find himself a kill, and happened to be the man with the diffuser. Just eventually FaZe picking up that mantle and getting the diffuser down in the dying seconds before Mav found his last kill. First smoke grenade going off here for Netcrocs as the west side of the basement's control has been levied towards FaZe, as Cameraman will do what he did last time and begins to torch open the wall, but he's going to take quite a bit of damage from those toxic babes. About half of his health gone now at this moment. He's lying in wait, trying to wait out Netcrocs on these gas grenades.
Mav still doing a lot of reconstruction inside of the kitchen floor, but a lot of the action now taking place on this church wall as it's going to be blown open now with the exothermic charge. Nothing to stop it here as Young and Canadian, the 2 men carrying impacts, will be way back, but still nonetheless, it appears to be destroyed somehow.
So Evil Geniuses has actually planned for this. They've put a shield inside. Gio's actually going to end up getting a kill off of said shield, but they've set a shield up past Minibar and past Black Box. It's right next to it. Eventually, though, Netcrocs will go down after the castle gets blown open, but that allowed him to throw impacts up at the wall without having to be so close and in danger. Eventually, though, MVK will find Ion, and that's going to be massive as Canadian and Netcrocs have both been down. Young, though, with the refrag, as Astro will claim the life of Canadian.
Frag grenade caught up by the ADS. Last 2 remaining FaZe members diving into blue and they'll claim the life of NVK, but immediately traded by Young now. Last man alive is Mav, holding up and pushing in through the blue box doorway. And he's held off by multiple angles here. No diffuser in control, and that'll be the round again for Evil Geniuses on a bounce back. They're able to stop the bleeding, able to take the lead once again. We draw closer to overtime, which I would not be at all surprised to see a direction we go in, especially after the games yesterday, especially Evil Geniuses' performances on Coastline and FaZe's performances yesterday against the Stream. Wouldn't be at all shocked to see this head into extra rounds.
Seems that Evil Geniuses has finally found the answer for FaZe and helped him out a little bit knowing exactly what FaZe was going to do, because they did the exact same thing over again. So it was planned for that this time around, to set up a castle barricade to easier rotate over towards the ladder side of church. But a deployable shield is the main thing that helped them out quite a bit. Not being seen from those Mav holes that they set up so they could get down that thermite safely was a huge play. Able to use those impacts to get rid of those exothermic charges, allowing Evil Geniuses to stave off a little bit longer.
Identical attacking roster for FaZe through every round so far, barring the Thatcher swap right now. This has been a rather consistent lineup for FaZe, and it affords them the ability to be able to quite malleable. They don't have to be hard set in one exact strategy, as we've seen from the rushes so far. Canadian as well heading over to the Maestro, so that's a role that's also been tossed around through the Evil Geniuses ranks. Maestro not really sticking with one person or another. Again, a testament to how flexible Evil Geniuses are as an entire roster, but it seems like they're having issues with finding something that really sticks right now as a cohesive lineup.
They eventually found that footing yesterday against Immortals, but it is taking a little bit longer here on their defensive set for their game against FaZe Clan. Initially, losing out 2 rounds so far. First on Church, second on Cash for them. They're back upstairs in Cash right now. They won Church that last round, as you guys saw, but we'll see if they can win this round. Doesn't look like it's going to be an exact rush again. I mean, they are going for more or less the same strategy. Going to have Yuna put a thermite charge down, going to make a hole on the left side of the wall. And actually, they're not even going to do that. No one's going to try and contest it. They're going to get the wall open for free and walk away.
Nothing really to stall out the wall there, so it'll be Evil Geniuses surrendering that control quite quickly, but their garage control still well intact. You don't have to worry about that. And they still have this castle barricade that's 11 hit on this Rafters window. Really curious. I guess it's bulletproof. It keeps you from being shot if you want to stand up, as well as the reinforcement right beside Canadian as he lanes prone. But the attack right now for FaZe, shifting directions. The tides seem to be taking them towards construction as opposed to clearing out garage. So with that pressure from the wall, you're probably going to leave one man outside on that balcony, and the rest of FaZe will begin their assault and their entry into the far side of the map through Master, into construction, start applying pressure from multiple directions.
Yeah, as you said, FaZe needs to get a little bit more of their footing here. Evil Geniuses works great in these kind of environments where they're able to establish where the take is going to be coming from, and that skeleton key is definitely not quiet. So they know it's going to be coming from construction. Cameraman's already rotated with the Mav torch. They're going to be able to put a little bit of work in this single panel. As Canadian miscounted a little bit, took 2 hits instead of 1, but still going to be able to open up the catwalk window, as they are just lying in wait for anything to come through construction. Canadian's going to hold down the breach. So we do see one body outside. It's going to be the Zofia of Astro. He's all left over here by his lonesome. MVK is going to be the first one to peek. Astro will take his head off for him. This Canadian still lying in wait. Noise is going off on the other side of the map, as Necrox is going to be popping his first toxic babe, excuse me. But things initially slowing down for FaZe here as Geo will find Cameraman. That means no more blowtorch.
Geo able to claim one of the lives back and able to trade it out as there's 30 seconds ticking away against FaZe on this attacking round. This will send us to match point, and Evil Geniuses are victorious. Necrox was dealing with a lot of pressure from down below inside of stock when Mav has the buck rotated down, but he's come back up in support of the attack. Geo with another one. Necrox with 2 huge kills, lining him up with the shotgun. It's Yuna left alive. Geo will fall, but a 1v3, 15 seconds, and he vaults into the CCTV window, and the Alda not enough on the pre-fire to stop Yuna in his tracks. Makes it in behind the B-bomb inside of CCTV, behind these racks, and we'll have to sick the plant into the overtime. Necrox and Young will both come tearing forward. Young will claim the kill, and that'll be Evil Geniuses setting themselves apart to match point on map number 1.
Biggest thing there for Evil Geniuses is when you give them time to adjust, they are fantastic. But when you're explosive, you do things quickly, and you don't grant them that time to do exactly what they want to do, everything falls apart. They don't work well still in those kind of instances, as we saw in that previous round on Cash, where FaZe just blew open the wall and full sent it through. This time they did have a little of a plan instilled for that, and that was going to be that 11-hit castle barricade, pop that open, and you got an LMG with 81 bullets to mow down everyone on the other side. But this time around, Necrox coming up massive on that push for construction, where he's able to rotate through, finds 2 with the M590, move along with your day. It's going to be match point here for Evil Geniuses, or excuse me, map point. So we are definitely going to have a map 2 because we can't not.
Well, we go to Gym Bedroom as the defense now for Evil Geniuses. This will be a tough one, as we saw the difficulties that FaZe had with their iterations of the defense, playing exclusively retake for 1 round and then heavy retake with a couple men on site, but still could not find any success on Gym and Bedroom, and it is one of the tougher sites on this map to claim success on. It is the tertiary map. It is not one of the primary or secondary sites that gets rotated automatically. It will be your automatic if you're able to win 2 defenses in a row, because nobody right now plays bar stock.
for
but
reasons.
you got to win 2 defenses in a row to get there, and that also has not happened so far this game. Teams have just chose Gym Bedroom as opposed to the site they're having the most difficulty on.
Exactly, and I think especially for this site, across all of the other sites, is the one that levies on the fact of who has the first opening kill. Because if you're down 5-3 or even 5-4 on the offense, things get immensely harder for you because there's a lot of angles you have to hold for rotations on this site. And if you're not able to do that, you're going to have a bad time. Seeing the feet of Legion is Astro, as Young is going to rotate back as he hears Yuna, as well as the Thatcher in the hands of Ion, getting open Jacuzzi wall immediately. And last time we saw FaZe moving this quickly did not work in the favor of Evil Geniuses.
Waiting to see if it'll be an identical strategy being brought out here. Young throwing up a Legion mine all the way up to the top of Logistics Hatch to know when someone comes over, and it looks like you'll have presence on the far side now on the east by CCTV as some Mav holes being opened up by Cameraman. I'll hop the drone, and he might actually have missed. I believe this is Necrox downstairs at the blue door, laying in wait to strike now. Necrox is actually inside of Cash. That's Geo downstairs, waiting to hit the flank up through the bottom of Garage. Cameraman's lost half of his life in an engagement as well with NVK, and he's gonna come out worse for wear in that one. So now the Thermite charge coming out onto the exterior wall. They still have the interior wall to deal with, and they don't have any more Thermite charges. They're gonna have to use Cameraman for any hard breach. Most likely, Evil Geniuses are gonna peel back and surrender this portion of the map.
If you want to do it, it takes 1 tank of gas to make a perfect circle that you can possibly crouch through. But Mav gonna open up things for FaZe as they're going to find Geo. That's gonna be the pulse that was roaming downstairs. So FaZe needs to pick up the pace just a little bit, but as previously stated, no more ectothermic charges. So FaZe more than likely going to be having to rush through doors and getting in quite a few gunfights as we are entering the last minute here. Stun grenades coming in from the Thermite. Evil Geniuses lying in wait. Necrox and Canadian, the two holding down the site. Young close by as he was last seen inside of Logistics office, and he's still going to be there. We're going to get that nice top-down view on the right-hand side of your screen. FaZe just trying to get some last bits of information before they try and push through and get an opening frag. The initial one's going to be a rappel upside down on the window from Astro. Necrox going to be locked in behind this mattress. He's trying to figure out which gunfight he can possibly take. Reloading would have been the perfect time to challenge, but Ion's still going to find the kill as Necrox will go down. Only 20 seconds left. FaZe has not found too much on site except for 1 kill. Slow and steady apparently wins the race. So finally drone out Young on main stairs. Canadian still locking things down with his ult inside a bathroom. Young will eventually fall. Canadian's gonna try and challenge, and it's gonna be all FaZe all day as they try and bring it back a little bit closer. Currently 6-5.
Well, again, staving off elimination will be FaZe Clan as they don't drop 3 in a row. They're able to draw 1 back. We're headed the distance inside of regulation. The big question is, are we going to have yet another overtime game in this tournament? It'll be Evil Geniuses to head downstairs to the basement to try and decide things. Both teams have utilized attack timeout, meaning that neither team can stop the timer. We will continue to careen towards midnight on this map. Will there be an extension on time with overtime rounds, or is Evil Geniuses going to lock this out right now?
Oh no. We're going to be going for a roam, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be 6 picking off of the Maestro to the Vigil. It's Canadian, it's NVK. NVK is going to be on Ella. We're bringing the mute to try and disperse the information that FaZe can possibly gather. This round's going to be insane.
Well, they've had a lot of trouble with anchoring up on site. 5 on really has not helped. The Maverick blowing open the holes into Church Wall has really been a nuisance for them to try and contend with, and they haven't really found much of an answer. As you know, last time around they had that deployable shield facing towards the Church Wall, but outside of that, they still got crossfired from the top of blue stairs, with that rotate being in perfect line with the player playing behind the deployable shield. So, interesting setup there from Evil Geniuses. Seemed like it was more on the fly than it was well prepared for that scenario, and it bit them in the backside for it. So like you said, lots of mute jammers coming out from Geo. You've got Canadian upstairs with rotates. You've got hatches open. You've got Geo placing mutes top floor. Inside of construction, reinforcements going down. It's a heavy, heavy investment from Evil Geniuses. A bold stance to take. Maybe it's just the perfect amount of bold stance that they need to wrap up this map.
Exactly. If there's a time to be bold, it's right now, when you are one round away from picking up the first map and setting yourself up to go to the finals to face off against Empire. Now, biggest thing here for Evil Geniuses is they have to be aware of exactly what is going on with FaZe. Because worst case scenario, they go on this roam and FaZe rushes directly to site. Because a retake on this site is extremely difficult, especially if hatches are still sealed. There's only 2 staircases, only 2 possible paths of entry. It gets very difficult for that defense. But this seems to be more or less a bait and switch, as we've rotated everyone downstairs after setting up the upstairs. You can see cameraman working his way up, but you see no red silhouettes up on that top floor, as Evil Geniuses has kind of pulled a sneaky on him.
Looks like there was still one member over by garage by the rafters, but you're right. Outside of that, not a lot of top floor control being held, but the distraction is enough to peel the attention away for FaZe to the top floor. They see all the barbed wire placed around the midst of the main stairs as well. Yuna, though, that will not strike fear into the heart of Yuna as he walks straight to the kitchen floor, and they have the dirt tunnel open. This is an alteration to the strategy that we haven't seen yet for FaZe. Drones will come descending through, and they'll most likely have to contend with Necrox if anyone is going to try and push through dirt, and Yuna carrying Diffuser will. Mav will provide support now as they both push in through the dirt tunnel. Necrox in probably one of the most famous positions he's ever held in his career. This entire map will rest on him being able to hold this out as swiftly and efficiently as he typically does. First Toxic Babe, sorry, that's the last Toxic Babe coming out. As frag grenades and flashbangs come raining in. He whips out the SMG-11 to try to go long range, empties a mag, can't hit a shot, gets full blinded, and Yuna will dispatch of him. Contention now from Young as well, but he only lands a few shots onto the shoulder of Yuna. Canadian doing battle inside of blue. At the bottom, he doesn't see the man directly under his line of sight. 2 though for EG3 now in a trade, and it's suddenly Evil Genius in the driver's seat. Cameraman, last man alive at the bottom of main stairs, trying to send it in through and make it into the moto hallway. He does not have diffuser controls. It's surrendered inside of dirt. He's going to have to go for the frags as he moves his way across the objective. Flashbangs come out into the midst of the hallway. But everyone from Evil Genius is playing patient. And behind their boxes, cameraman not making a move either. Not enough info for him to be able to push through safely. It's a Legion mine now and doesn't have the time to take it out. Waiting for the peak, the pre-fire will give away his position. Holding close is Canadian, but NVK will be the one to shut it down. Evil Geniuses, 1 map away from the grand finals at a date with Team Empire.
What a hold from Evil Geniuses. You thought it was all for naught, that bait, especially after Mud Tunnel was the allocation for FaZe, but Evil Geniuses eventually able to battle back, and especially on the back of NVK there. I think the biggest thing for that round was those Grismont mines, not allowing them to be as open as they wanted to be with their rush. I mean, eventually once they got Mud Tunnel open, they had to deal with the Toxic Babes, but they dispatched of smoke pretty quickly for how long smoke can traditionally hold things down. Still, too little, too late.
NVK really being a star performer for Evil Geniuses yesterday and today. No difference there. 13 kills on the map in a 12-round game. It'll end 7-5 in the favor of Evil Geniuses. So North America, 1 map away from the grand finals. It's been a long time coming since that has happened either in a Pro League finals. Right now for Evil Geniuses, you turn your attention towards map number 2, which will be Border. I mean, a very strong map for FaZe as well.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, FaZe is regretting that map. That was looking very, very good for them in certain instances, especially after that rush. I think that was a perfectly timed timeout for Evil Geniuses that set the pace for the rest of the game, where Evil Geniuses really just walked away with it.
Well, we have yet to see what Border will hold, but to break down the entirety of Clubhouse, it's Gassan, it's everyone on the analyst desk. Have at it, boys.